Hello and welcome. He's arguably India's most versatile actor and became familiar to Western audiences as they watched him go beyond Bollywood to appear in hits such as Bend It Like Beckham and Bride and Prejudice. On this week's One-on-One, meet the talented Indian director, producer and actor, Anupam Kher. Born and raised in the northern hills of India, Anupam Kher's start was almost cinematic in nature as he ran away from home to the big city to become an actor. But like many others, he found life tough in Bollywood and almost left Mumbai feeling dejected until a last-minute argument with a well-known director turned his fortune around. Ironically, at the age of 27, he burst onto the Hindi film scene playing the role of a 60-year-old man. Kher's striking emotional portrayal made him a household name and earned him the credibility to command a variety of roles, including villain, hero, comic and understanding father.
I want her to fight. And I want her to win. Because I've seen her playing, she's brilliant. I don't think anybody has the right of stopping her.
Anupam Kher's prolific in his work. In the past 2 decades, he's put more than 300 movies under his belt, but calls his best investment his school of acting in Mumbai, where other young aspiring actors might get an easier start than he did.
Anupam, great to talk with you. I'm going to start off with a quote that I read where you said, "Competence is the enemy of brilliance." What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I think when you have worked for about 21 years in movies and then you've done about 310 films, and if you have a background of drama school, you become competent. You say that, okay, this is my scene, this is how I will do it. And then you stop being brilliant because you don't have the fear of failure. You're happy that you will lead on the set. This happens to people who have been working for over a long period of time. You don't want to work hard. You become lazy, you become corrupt as an actor, but you are competent. You know that this is an emotion of anger, this is what you have to raise, you have to do a comic kind of a thing, you have to do. So when you are everything else, you don't touch the soul, you don't have the fear of failure, you don't start from scratch. And when you don't do that, you can only be competent and never brilliant.
But you seem to challenge yourself with lots of things. So I wonder, what is your prime focus nowadays? Is it the acting, the directing, the writing, whatever?
See,
what is it?
I took a break about 3 years back. Break in the sense I never stopped working, but the only thing that I did in the last 21 years was to enjoy the process of work. And about a few years back, I stopped doing that. I did not enjoy acting, so I was a little frightened. I have done all kinds of films. Some of them are brilliant, some of them are very bad, some of them are completely indifferent. But I used to every time work and look forward to going for work, whatever work I was doing. When that stopped, then I said I must take a break. And after the break, I opened this acting school, which I think is my best investment as an actor. I produced Maine Gandhi Ko Nahi Mara, I Did Not Kill Gandhi. The moment I stopped working, my enthusiasm came back. So I think in India you are known by how many films you are doing, not by what brilliant films you are doing. If you have about 20 films a year, that means you are happening. If you have 2 films a year, that means... So that fear I had, that fear of not being in the rat race. So unknowingly, somebody asked me, about 2 years back, "Oh, we don't see you in many movies. You are not in the rat race now anymore." I said, "I've left." It was an unknowing answer. I said, "I left the race for the rats."
What merit is there, by the way, in picking quantity over quality? Because in many cases, especially in the West, some of the actors say, "Well, I'm just going to pick those fine roles and concentrate on those."
I think this difference between West and India is that over there, you do get work only if you are talented. Over here, you don't. That's not the quality that's required. There are so many incompetent people around who are successful, who are doing well. And the background that I came from a lower middle class family. I've done The only thing I had was my training and my talent, but not necessarily a ticket for stardom. So it used to always make me feel insecure. So insecurity, when that insecurity went away, now I think that it's only important to do quality work. But for 15, 16 years, that was not important. Even now, because I like publicity, I like to be written about, I like to be talked about. I want to be in the among the front runners. I never treated myself as a character actor kind of a thing. Over here, the demarcation is there: hero, character actor, villain, comedian, etc., etc. From day one, I thought I was the best thing that happened to the Indian film industry based on my talent, and I did not want people to decide that. Means I know that when I'm bad, I'm bad. So it was my own perception of me, sometimes arrogant, sometimes humble. But now I think I'm much more laid back. I think I'm much more relaxed.
There are those who say for a good actor, to be able to perform, they have to draw on their life experiences. They have to have experienced some of those emotions. To what extent do you agree?
Absolutely. Good, bad, indifferent experiences. I think actors usually say it is emotional memory, especially in theatre and to some extent in cinema also. You can't constantly I don't believe in method acting. I think method acting is passé. Nobody works on these things. So you have to drive some experience from somewhere and translate that into the present emotion that you are portraying. Yes, of course you have to. That's why an actor has a personality to him which is constantly observing. A part of me is constantly observing that I'm doing this to my hand, and you are constantly looking at me, and there's this gentleman who is saying, when is he asking the next question?
Let's draw on your childhood experience then. Let's see what emotions you went through. Take me through those early years, from a Kashmiri family living in Simla, what the environment in which you lived.
I was in a lower middle class family. We were 14 members in this room kind of a place. My father was a forest clerk. It was a comical family. It was a family. One of my uncles failed in 8th standard 7 times. And so
the oldest pupil in the school.
Yeah, his class fellow started calling him uncle. So he was the only guy who used to do full shave, etc.
How much did your parents encourage you in this life of acting? Because in theory, it's not a very secure field in which to go.
My parents did not know what I was doing. My parents were too busy earning enough money for us to feed our stomach for the rest of a month. I don't think my father was ambitious. He used to be, the only way I think he used to feel very happy was when I used to do a play in my school. So he used to be singled out. Oh, who's this actor's father? This guy. So everybody used to look at him. That was the only time he got recognition. So he liked it.
And there's a wonderful story of when you actually failed at school.
Yeah, I
took
think
you out for dinner.
He took away the fear of failure from me for the rest of my life. So he's an ambitious person now, means he thinks that, oh, I must be in almost every film that Hindi film industry produces. But when I was in 10th standard, we used to get the result, we used to be promoted to the 11th standard. And the result used to come after 2 months. So my father knew somebody in education board. One day I was in the 11th standard, he came to ask me, he says, let's go out. I said, but still school is going on. He says, come on, I'll take chutti for you, holiday for you. And he took me to the best restaurant where we used to go once in 6 months. It was Alpha Restaurant on the Mall Road in Simla. So we had just gone 2 months back. I said, already? He said, yeah, come. I thought maybe he's got a lottery ticket or something, or he's got another promotion. So mutton samosa used to be our favorite over there. And he asked for mutton samosa. I said, this man either has gone crazy today or something. Then I had never had espresso coffee till then. It was in 10th standard. So he said, would you like to? I said, that machine coffee. So he got machine. Then he got rasgulla also. I couldn't handle it. I said, this is too much. I said, what is the reason? Why are you celebrating? He says, you failed. So I said, and why are you doing this? He says, I'm doing this because let's celebrate failure so that you are never scared of failure in your entire life. I think that took away my fear of failure for the rest of my life. And this coming from a simple man, he was not, you can't talk about my father saying, oh, my father is a philosopher. My grandfather was, but not my father. But I think his lack of knowledge encouraged me to become an actor.
And you had quite a tough time going to Bombay, to the big city, the first time you arrived, trying to find a break, didn't you?
No, extremely tough time. I started sleeping on platforms, railway platform, because I did not have money to pay my landlord, there was no food, and I'm not romanticizing it. I think it's part of life. My optimism kept me going, and I had nothing else to do. If I did not have an optimism, I would have gone back and started teaching in some village, something like that. And then the 6 months, and then I was going around with somebody in Lucknow, and she decided to get married, so that finished me completely. And then I used to meet Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, and Mahesh Bhatt was supposed to be a director who used to meet newcomers, who used to meet so-called intellectual actors, drama school type of people. So I met him, and I remembered that he remembered my name from the previous day's phone conversation. And he said, "Oh, I've heard a lot about you. I believe you're a good actor." I said, I was by the time completely frustrated. I said, "You heard wrong. I'm brilliant." So he said, "Okay, you are doing the main role in my next film after a few months." And then just 10 days before the film was to be shot, he threw me out of the film. Not he, but the producers threw me out of the film. They decided to take established actor Sanjeev Kumar for the film. And they said, no. So Mr. Bhatt said, "You do the other old man's role." It was Saransh. So I decided if Mahesh Bhatt can cheat me, then I think I don't live in this city. So I packed my luggage, but I said, before I leave this city, I must tell Mahesh what kind of a person he is. So I took a cab with my luggage on my way to VT station, and I stopped at his house, and I went up to him, and I said, "You are the biggest fraud. You're the biggest cheat on earth. You use people." This is a very mild version of what I can't use words on camera. I said all kinds of, though I think out of frustration I was crying also, because I thought this is the end of my career in Bollywood. Something I think snapped in him, and he called up the producers. He says, "This film will be made only with him and not with anybody else." And that's how Saransh happened.
Anupam, don't go away. We're going to return and continue one-on-one with Anupam Kher in just a moment.